What's up, guys? The Beast NJ here, and it is a big week. It's the week right before E3. E3 is this upcoming weekend. It starts Saturday. Technically, E3 is next week, but the press conferences are what we all get really excited about. And it starts Saturday, so I thought, what better way to lead into E3 than to give all of you guys my E3 predictions. And today, we are going to start with a potential big player this year, a big player for all time, but really in a position of power at this point, and that is, of course, none other than Nintendo. I was going to start in order of the conferences. If you don't know, it is, I think, EA on Saturday. Sunday is Microsoft, Bethesda, and I think that's all. And then Monday is the PC conference, and then there is, of course, Ubisoft, and then Sony to close off, as they always do. So we're going to go into Nintendo because some news broke today that will affect one of my predictions, and I wanted to get ahead of that. So here we go, without further ado. Nintendo. My first prediction, and one that you could also probably predict, is a big focus on Super Mario Odyssey. That it seems like a complete given at this point. That's been on everyone's mind since Zelda came out. That's their next big player. Mario is everything. He is the video game industry, so of course they're going to have a huge focus on Super Mario Odyssey coming for their Treehouse event, I think is what it is. They're doing a spotlight with their announcements, and then a full all-day Treehouse event following that, and that's on Tuesday. So technically they're closing, but they're not doing a proper conference. So I think the Treehouse will be all about Super Mario Odyssey. I think they will announce at the actual spotlight event, well, the video that they normally put out, that the release date for Super Mario Odyssey will be November of 2017. I think that would make a lot of sense. I think if they're smart, they will have this out by the holiday, and I think that it's been ready for a long time, personally. So I see no issue with this, personally. I think they're going to, do their big blowout on gameplay for Super Mario Odyssey, showing off the open world kind of aspect that they seem to tease in the trailer, and I think that this just makes perfect sense. This will be their big fall release, accompanied by some other things that I'll get to in my later predictions. But that's what I think we're looking at for Nintendo's big baby this year. I think it's going to be all Super Mario Odyssey, similar to what they did with Zelda Breath of the Wild last year, and focused heavily on that, pretty much solely on that. Now, I don't think that this is all they're going to have. I think they know that this is a big moment for them. The success of the Switch, people really love it. They're starting to gain back some of that good faith, and I think it's really important to capitalize on that. So just showing off one big title for folks to play on their Nintendo Switch seems to me that would be a big mistake. Now, will new Nintendo show up? Will old Nintendo show up? Or will old Nintendo show up? It's anybody's guess, but I would be surprised if there wasn't a couple other big announcements to come. And that leads me to my second prediction, of course. Now, well, I'll say the prediction first and then what happened today, obviously. Pokemon for Switch will be teased. No release date or gameplay shown, just a very short teaser. So I had made this over the weekend. I think on Saturday I originally put this. And then just today, it's been revealed that on June 6th, which is tomorrow, there will be a direct focused entirely around Pokemon. They haven't said Pokemon what, but they just said there will be a Nintendo Direct tomorrow, June 6th, focused all on Pokemon. So that's what changed me. I changed my order of which prediction videos were going to go out when based on that information, because I wanted to talk about this before the event tomorrow. So I had originally written here, this will be teased, no release date or gameplay shown, just a very short teaser. If this is going to be a full Nintendo Direct, it would seem to me that tomorrow they would show the teaser trailer and then possibly a brief glimpse of some gameplay to set them up for E3 week, their Tuesday show, to really open the lid on whatever they have going on. And I do think this is going to be Pokemon for Switch. I don't know if it's going to be called Pokemon Stars or not, but I think this is going to be their Pokemon Switch game. I don't think it's going to be an MMO like everybody wanted. I think it's going to be more of a traditional Pokemon RPG. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's probably exactly what they need right now. I think an MMO Might be a little too ambitious, especially since they have no online service just yet. I know there's been some news about that lately, but as of now, there's no online service, and when this game will come out, I don't know. I don't expect that soon. I think they're not going to shadow Super Mario Odyssey at all, and I think some of the other things that they might want to get out the way. But I think this may have swayed my prediction a bit. I think we will see a trailer. I think we'll have some information on probably some amiibos for this, whatever this Pokemon game is, and I think it will be Pokemon for Switch. So which would lead me to believe then they will have some gameplay maybe at their Spotlight event. But we will see. I think that's a sound prediction though. They need a Pokemon game on Switch for sure. I would be really, really surprised if this was a new Pokemon for 3DS. Not that I think the 3DS is dead. I would just be really surprised if this was not what everybody had been asking for all this time, because they have proved with Zelda Breath of the Wild that they're listening in some capacity. They are definitely listening. Number 3, a slew of small titles will be announced. Oh, I said that really weird. I'm sorry about that. A slew of smaller titles will be announced, looking very Japanese and very niche, and will not be that exciting to me. Maybe they are to you. I don't know. They kind of rapid fire these smaller games usually every year, and they do this in all their directs, and it's just kind of a lot of white noise in my opinion. I'm sure there's obviously a ton of people out there who love these games or they wouldn't be making them, but I think it's going to be a lot of filler, not what people came to see. That is very Nintendo as of lately, and I would not expect them to have completely shifted from the way they normally are so far. But I think there will be a lot of them. I think there's going to be a lot of not small, but niche titles for you know, that old school, maybe Japanese RPG sort of audience. I think that's a safe bet, really. So far, I think all 3 of these are kind of safe bets. Not too many of these are real risky, with the exception of my next one. But I think this is a safe bet. So, you know, it's a pretty good Spotlight so far, if you take into consideration a big look at Super Mario Odyssey, if they do have this Pokemon game for Switch, and then a whole bunch of, you know, games for old school Nintendo and old school Japanese RPG fans. Not really old school Nintendo fans, because I am an old school Nintendo fan and I don't care for those games, but you catch my drift, you know what I mean? Now, the next one is a little bit ballsy, as our good friend Andrew Maduri on the Level Up Network will say. A new Metroid game is announced. I know this is never a safe bet, but I do think it will be announced. A new Metroid game. I think it will be in the same style and influence of Metroid Prime. Not under the same name, but I think it will be in the same vein of Metroid Prime. People have been asking for a Metroid game for how long from them, and there's no way they don't hear it. You know what I mean? They did some stuff with the franchise, I think that Fusion Frenzy or something or other it was called, and they know that's not what people wanted, and I don't think that was obviously their main attempt at a new revival of the Metroid franchise. I just don't think that's the case. I think the Switch will have a Metroid or a Metroid Prime type of game, something involving this franchise that's big, AAA, what people wanted. I would not be surprised, honestly, but I think there's a 50-50 shot because that old Nintendo is still out there. You know what I mean? They're not fully flipping the switch. Sorry. But, you know, they're out there. So they could be very ignorant to this and just not even bring up Metroid at all, which would be a travesty. I think this is the time to do it when you have that goodwill back. You've proved that you were listening with this crazy open world Skyrim influenced Zelda game. So to come back with not only Metroid, but a new take on Metroid Prime, and they could give it the Zelda open treatment if they wanted to. I mean, there's a ton of potential. Or even just an old school 2D or side-scrolling Metroid game that people have been clamoring for forever. Or why not both? You have the franchise. You can definitely get a big AAA shooter like Metroid Prime on your console, and they need that audience. They need people who want to play first-person shooters. You just do. So why not just do both? Do that and do a old school side-scrolling Metroid game. I think you would be in business, man. That is the move, in my opinion. I would do both, not obviously at the same time, but why not? Who says you have to do one? You know, there can be multiple types of games. So I think that would be a big move and a big win and a really the next big step in gaining back all of this faith from their fans. Me personally, I would be fucking ecstatic. Metroid Prime is one of my favorite games of all time. I love that game so much. So this is a little bit of a biased thing because I do want this so badly. But will they do it? Probably not. The odds are slim, but I just would be tickled pink. You know what I mean? I just want that so bad. And I think a lot of fans out there do. Metroid Prime is a great game. The first one, specifically, is a great game. One of the great games of all time, in my opinion, honestly. So, it's time. Bring it back, Nintendo. We need it. We need it bad. I really want it. So, you can do it. My 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th prediction. Wii U to Switch. I know you didn't expect me to say Wii U, did you? Wii U ports over to Switch galore. I think we're going to see a lot of this unveiled finally. The Wii U was a smaller console, obviously. So there's been a ton of good games, in fact, that were on that console that people never played. So why not just, port them over? Give more games for people to play on the go, on their Switch, or at home on their TVs if they want to. But a lot of these games would translate really well to the Switch, I think. And this is a gimme, pretty much. I don't know if the games that I've chosen will be the ones, but Wii U ports over to Switch is like a total gimme. This is definitely going to be a thing. The ones I have listed that I think will be good contenders are Pokken Tournament, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, probably not Mario 3D World, because I don't think they're going to want to cast in kind of a shadow over their new Mario game. Even though they're totally different. I just don't think that's going to be one that makes it over there, because I think they'll have probably a new Super Mario Brothers game down the road as well. But and then the final one, obviously Smash Brothers. I think that's going to be announced. Maybe they won't give you a whole look at what's going on, but I think it's going to be announced, and I think it's going to be a big, bonus deluxe edition similar to the Mario Kart 8 re-release on Switch. I think we're going to get that from Smash Brothers. I think they're going to talk about that this year as well. So that's a pretty safe bet right there, in my opinion. The only one that's really out of the box is a Metroid game. And my last one is also pretty safe. I think this is almost a guarantee. I would say that a fairly large amount of 3DS games are demonstrated, and possibly a couple of new reveals for the 3DS. They proved that at their last, I think it was a direct, that this platform is not dead to them at all, although it probably should be. It lived a long and wonderful, healthy life. It's got a great library, and people freaking love this system. But at the direct, they really kind of surprised us by showing us all sorts of games coming to it. So I wouldn't be that surprised if they have even more that are slated for it. And I think we're going to get a lot of that 3DS. I think there's at the very least a sizzle reel along with some announcements for the 3DS. I do think 3DS will be present, and I think there'll be some coverage for new games on it, because it's just, I don't particularly understand. I mean, I get it, but it's almost as if, I don't care what they say. The Switch is not a home console. That is a handheld system. It just is, to me. That's my opinion. So I think it's so strange for them to have launched a brand new, essentially handheld platform with close to the power of a full-blown home console, and then still be dragging the 3DS through the mud behind them. If I was them, I would let this go fast. Really, this would be the one instance where the style of Nintendo to just drop hardware as soon as they're done with it would really be beneficial to them, in my opinion. I think it's time. Let it go, and let it go hard and fast. Just let people who want to play these new handheld games play them on the Switch. They need this Switch to be big, and it is, but they have a long road ahead of them, and I think this will be a good step in that direction. So I think this is pretty much a gimme as well. I do think we'll see 3DS there, although I don't think we should. So that's it. Those are my 6 predictions for Nintendo. Just to recap, we'll go over it once more. Big focus on Super Mario Odyssey. Pokemon for Switch. Probably a big spread on that, since they're going to have a direct on that tomorrow. I think that's smart when companies do that, when they get out in front of it and just kind of make their initial announcement so they can spend E3 not so much announcing it and letting people react to the news. as they can just showing it off and like, this is the features, this is what we're doing. It's a smart thing to do, and I think a lot of companies have wised up to that over the years. We will have a slew of smaller Japanese RPG type of niche audience things that will be announced. A new Metroid game in the style of Metroid Prime. Let's hope. Wii U ports to Switch, including Pokemon Tournament, Smash Bros., Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and a fairly large amount of 3DS games, demonstrating and possibly a couple of new reveals. That's a solid E3 for Nintendo, and I think that would really knock it out of the park, in my opinion. If they could land all of this stuff and have even maybe one or two surprises outside of these reveals, that's a home run of a show, man. And for a company that really doesn't want to come back to E3 proper and do it the way that everybody else does it, this is a good way to get people to keep their faith in you and your platform, and be excited about the future of the Switch. This would be enough for me. If they have Super Mario Odyssey coming, some of these Wii U games that I owned a Wii U and I didn't get to play, new Metroid Prime, or even just a regular Metroid game, a Pokemon game on Switch, that would get me in the door, man. I'd be all right. It's time to jump on board for the Switch, if we can ever find one again, because they're here today and gone tomorrow. But I think it's a solid conference. I hope you guys think so too. Let me know what your E3 predictions are for Nintendo, and look forward all week long. I'm going to have Microsoft, Sony, and third parties coming up next. Third parties will be the video tomorrow. So I really hope you guys enjoy it, and please subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. It means a whole lot to me. And if you like this video, click that like button. It takes 1 second. Share it with your friends. Help me grow this channel. I really need you guys behind me. Thank you so much for watching. Get excited. E3 is coming, and I'm sure excited. Before we go, quickly again, I just wanted to make these E3 videos for the week. This is a very soft relaunch for this channel. A lot of new things to come that I will be talking with you guys about very soon. So follow me on Twitter at @thebeast_NJ for all of those announcements. And until next time, guys, take care.